All right, so we've been keeping up with the super important fight that's been going on in Bessemer, Alabama, where workers for an Amazon warehouse facility are attempting to form the first Amazon union in the United States. So this would be a gigantic and important win for the labor movement in the United States. We have historically low union participation rates in this country, and that has led to extreme inequalities, wealth inequalities, income inequalities, and that's because unions are the best and most direct way for workers to put a check on their employers and make sure that they are getting fair pay and good benefits and safe working conditions. And we've seen that Amazon is one of the worst offenders on all of those three issues across the board. And that's been especially exposed throughout the course of the pandemic, where we've seen them try to ramp up their production and pressure workers to work in unsafe conditions. And so Bernie Sanders was holding a hearing where he was basically trying to call to attention the extreme inequality between CEO pay and average worker pay. And so during this hearing, he had a couple of different guests on. He had like Robert Reich and a couple of other good speakers on. But one of the best speakers that he had on that was calling to attention with this issue of the CEOs now making 320 times as much as typical workers in the United States. Just an outrageous ratio that we have here. But he had on Jennifer Bates, who is one of the Amazon employees who was attempting to unionize. And she really just puts it all succinctly and perfectly in this clip. So I wanted to bring it to your attention because, again, this fight is extremely important for the labor movement in the United States. And yeah, she gives a perfect delivery here of everything that they're fighting for.
Because we are not robots designed to only live to work. We work to live. We deserve to live, laugh, and love and have a full, fulfilling life. We, the workers, deserve to be treated with dignity and respect and deserve to be given the same commitment that we give to the job every day we go in. We, the workers, made the billions for Amazon. I often say we're the billionaires. We just don't get to spend any of it. We first started to talk about unionizing one day during a break. One guy said they wouldn't be doing these things to us if we had a union. As soon as Amazon found out about the union, they started going hard trying to stop the union drive. We were forced into what they call union education meetings. We had no choice but to attend them, not given an opportunity to decline. They would last for as much as an hour, and we'd have to go sometimes several times a week. The company would just hammer on different reasons why the union was bad for us, and we had to listen. If someone spoke up and disagreed with what the company was saying, they would just shut the meeting down and told people to go back to work, then follow up with us on one-on-one meetings on the floor. A lot of what was said in those meetings was untrue, like telling people they'd lose their benefits if they joined the union. It was upsetting to see some of the younger people who were really on board with the union get confused about what was being said in the meetings. All around the plant, Amazon had put up anti-union signs and messages. They sent messages to workers' phones. They even had signs posted in the bathroom stalls. No place was also off limits. No place seemed safe.
Right, so tapping on a lot of different important points there. One of them, the first thing that jumped out at me was the anti-union propaganda campaign that Amazon has been launching. So I did a couple videos a couple while back that was specifically covering Amazon's tactics and their anti-union tactics that they have been using at the Bessemer, Alabama facility. It's grotesque. I mean, it went as far as, like she was saying, with the propaganda campaigns and the meetings that they had to attend, to putting signs up in fucking bathroom stalls, all the way to literally changing traffic light patterns outside of the warehouse so that cars would have less time to stop and talk to organizers. I mean, it's pervasive. It's really disturbing how much influence Amazon had on that local government with that specific instance as well, but just pervasive with their anti-union propaganda. This should all be illegal, okay? And the PRO Act, which was a recent piece of legislation that was passed in the House and is going to be brought forward in the Senate sometime relatively soon, is a really important piece of legislation that ties directly into this, because part of the PRO Act is holding some of these corporations responsible for that and making sure that they're not allowed to engage in those types of anti-union interference campaigns while things like this are going on. And the other important thing that she mentioned at the beginning there, which I thought was perfect, and I almost want to rewind it to find that quote again, but I think it was like, billionaires, or we are the billionaires, we just don't get to spend that money. And that's exactly fucking right. That is the perfect perfect encapsulation of what this entire fight is about and what the fight between unions and the capitalist ownership class in this country is about in general, which is labor is creating the value, okay? These workers that work at these facilities are the ones who are producing the value for Amazon that makes it such a wealthy company, that makes Jeff Bezos his billions. But it's just that they are being exploited. They are not being paid for the value that they are producing for the company. And so that's where those billions come from. Okay, and so what a union would give these people is the ability to then collectively bargain for a greater portion of those profits that they're producing for the company, or bargain for better conditions so that they aren't nervous about getting fired for going and using the bathroom, or bargaining for all of these other benefits that would be included in this. So two very important areas that she tapped on there. And I think it's really a good, important video clip here because this fight is still ongoing right now. I think the votes are going to be officially tallied around March 30th. So still an ongoing fight right now. And I just read a good article that I'll put down in the description below where they do a bunch of interviews with some of these members who are on the ground organizing, and it gives you a good picture of what's going on the ground. And listen, this is a fight that legitimately could go either way, even though we've had, even Joe Biden throwing his name in here, semi-supporting the union drive, and Bernie Sanders and all of these other politicians, and even celebrities going down to Bessemer, Alabama to advocate for the union. Still, it's up in the air whether or not this is going to win. And it's a desperately needed win, and I think it would be a major defeat if they aren't able to do this. But seriously important fight going on in Bessemer, Alabama, so let's support them. Again, I'll put more information in the description below if you want to read more about this, but perfect encapsulation. She obviously knows what's going on the ground. She's experiencing this firsthand, and yeah, all power to the people who are trying to unionize.